Hey everyone, Mike here, and with me today is Emily.
Hi, everyone.
And welcome back to The Deep Read, where we, grab those books off your nightstand and we really get into them.
We do a deep dive.
Yeah, today we're tackling
That's right.
Fire Exit by Morgan Talty.
Yes. Very excited about this one.
Yeah, this collection of interconnected short stories that explore,
It's powerful.
family memory, indigenous identity.
Yeah.
We're really getting into the world of this Penobscot man.
Yeah.
And it's intense. It's heartbreaking.
It is. It's not a typical linear novel, though, is it?
No, it's not.
It's like we're experiencing his life in pieces.
Yeah.
Like fragments, almost how memory itself works or how we try to put together our identity.
Exactly. And from the very beginning, we're hit with this really poignant image of his mother.
Louise.
Yeah, Louise. Yeah, she's aging. Her memory's fading.
Yeah.
And there's this scene where she mistakes
a
stuffed elephant for her baby son.
It's powerful.
It's like past and present are just...
They're merging.
Yeah, they're colliding.
Yeah.
What do you make of this, especially in the context of, like, the whole book?
You've hit on something really important here because that scene, it's not just about memory fading,
Right.
It's Talty setting the stage for how much the past shapes the present.
Yeah.
Not just for Louise, but for all the characters in the book.
Right.
And I think it really sets the tone for the entire collection.
Wow.
It makes us think about how memory itself shapes identity, both individual and collective.
But I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah.
Like, we're primed for all these characters being haunted by their pasts.
Yeah.
And how it just keeps coming back.
Totally. And speaking of the past, Talty takes us back to the narrator's childhood on the reservation.
Yeah.
And we learn about this really important thing, the Maine Indian Claims Settlement Act.
Oh, yeah.
This might be something that people are wondering about. So how did this actually affect the characters? Basically, it forced non-native residents off the land.
Oh, wow.
And that created this rift in the community.
Oh.
And it even leads to the narrator's stepfather, Fredrick, building him a house across the river.
It's almost symbolic.
It is so symbolic.
This physical separation becomes this metaphor for that distance.
Yeah, the emotional distance.
And the longing for connection.
Yeah.
That's just throughout the book.
It is. It's like this foreshadowing, of that recurring theme of separation from family, from heritage, from belonging.
Yeah.
He's always on the outside looking in.
Yeah, it's interesting because Louise represents that pull of the past.
Yeah.
The narrator's relationship with Fredrick, his stepfather, embodies this different
kind of influence.
Yeah, you see this quiet strength in Fredrick.
Yeah.
Man of few words.
He is.
But profound actions.
Absolutely.
He builds him the home.
Yeah.
He's a source of stability. What does that tell us about how men in this book navigate their relationship?
I love that you picked up on that because I think Talty's kind of challenging those traditional notions of masculinity.
Yeah.
Frederick's actions, like building that house, speak volumes about his love and his commitment.
Yeah.
And he even protects the narrator's friend Jesus when he's at his most vulnerable after being brutally beaten by his father.
Yeah.
Fredrick represents this quieter strength, a man who shows up, not just talks.
Yeah, and that incident with Jesus being beaten.
Oh, it's hard to read.
And the narrator being falsely accused.
Yeah.
It really shows those complexities of power and truth within this community.
Absolutely. And it makes you question how trauma can really distort reality.
Yeah.
And how justice is served or not served within this community that's grappling with its own power dynamics.
Yeah. And it also shows how violence and vulnerability,
they're intertwined.
Yeah, are so deeply intertwined in these characters' lives.
And they're looking for connection.
Yes.
Amidst all of that pain and misunderstanding.
And that yearning for connection
is
so strong in his relationship with Elizabeth.
His daughter.
Yeah, who's being raised by another family.
Right. He only gets these glimpses of her. As a child.
Yeah, he tries to give her a stuffed elephant.
That stuffed elephant.
During one of their encounters.
What a symbol.
Right.
I mean, it just speaks to that desire for recognition,
Yeah.
He wants to be a part of her life.
Yeah.
Even if it's just symbolic.
And it's heartbreaking because you can feel that desperation.
Oh, yeah.
To connect.
Absolutely.
But there's just so many barriers.
There are so many barriers.
Like Mary.
Elizabeth's adoptive mother.
Yeah, her protectiveness.
Fierce.
Yeah. And she warns him.
She does.
Against revealing who he is.
Yeah, she doesn't want him to disrupt things.
Yeah.
And then there's Jesus
Right.
urging him to tell her the truth, saying she deserves to know.
It's like we're given these different perspectives.
Yeah, conflicting perspectives.
On what family is and belonging and truth. Yeah.
What would you do?
I don't know.
It's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
So many emotions and loyalties.
Yeah.
And then as if things weren't complicated enough, we find out that Elizabeth is facing her own demons. She's hospitalized for mental health issues. Right. And the narrator is just watching from a distance.
Yeah.
Powerless.
It's really where the consequences of secrets and the need for that shared history.
It hits home.
Yeah, it really comes
like, can you really heal
Right.
if you don't face the truth?
It seems like the novel is arguing that you can't.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
It's powerful. But it's interesting, though, isn't it? Because, like, in the middle of all this, we've got this character, Bobby, who comes in.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, almost like a wild card.
Yeah.
He's volatile.
He is.
Has this crazy encounter with Louise's neighbor.
Yes.
Ends up getting arrested.
Right.
Almost like a foil to these more reserved characters like the narrator and Fredrick.
Yeah. He embodies this like raw, untamed energy.
Yes.
He's impulsive, struggling with alcohol.
Yeah.
But there's a vulnerability there.
Yeah, he's looking for connection.
He is.
Just like the other characters.
But he just goes about it so differently.
In a completely different way.
Yeah.
And I think his presence really complicates how we think about masculinity in the book.
Yeah.
You know, we've got Fredrick, this quiet provider.
Yeah.
And then Bobby, this almost stereotypical bad boy figure.
Yeah.
But I think through both of them, Talty's saying that there's no one way to be a man. Right. It's about finding your own path and navigating those expectations.
Yeah.
And defining what it means to be good on your own terms.
Yeah. And I'm struck by how that kind of ties into the broader theme of identity.
It does.
And runs through the whole book.
Yes.
The narrator's always trying to figure out where he fits in.
Right.
You know, both with his family and like within the larger Penobscot heritage.
He's caught between these two worlds, isn't he?
He is.
Not fully native in some people's eyes.
Right.
But deeply connected to the reservation and the history.
Yeah, it's like that feeling of being in between.
Yeah.
And not fully belonging.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
It's almost amplified by the legacy of that act. That settlement act.
It created that division, you know?
Yeah.
Not just physically, but emotionally and culturally.
Yeah. He's wrestling with what it means to be Penobscot.
Yeah.
In a world that has tried to erase it.
Exactly. And it's more than just his personal struggles.
Right.
Talty brings in those historical and political forces that have shaped the lives of Indigenous people and continue to affect the present.
Yeah. Like think about the narrator's guilt over Fredrick's death.
Yeah.
You know, they were out hunting.
Yeah.
He blames himself.
Yeah, for not being there.
Yeah, for not being the son he thought Fredrick deserved.
It's like he's carrying the weight of that loss as a personal failure.
And that guilt, it drives him.
It does.
To try and connect with Elizabeth.
Almost like he's making amends for the past.
Yeah.
By forming a relationship with his daughter.
But that path to connection.
Oh, it's not easy.
Is full of obstacles.
It is.
You know, Mary's resistance. Yeah. Elizabeth's struggles.
Yeah.
The fear of messing up her life.
Totally.
It creates this just really heartbreaking feeling of missed opportunities.
Yeah. Can we ever really heal from the wounds of the past? You know?
That's the question.
Can we bridge those divides?
Right. I don't know.
Those are big questions.
Yeah.
And Talty's really grappling with them in this book.
He doesn't give us easy answers.
No, he doesn't.
But he makes us face these uncomfortable truths.
He does, and it makes you think about those ripple effects, you know, how trauma gets passed down through generations and shows up in these unexpected ways.
Yeah, it's like they're caught in this cycle of pain and silence.
Yeah, it's heavy, but Talty handles it so well.
He does.
With such honesty and grace.
Yeah, the honesty is really striking.
It is.
He doesn't shy away from the darkness, from the pain.
But there's a tenderness there, too.
There is.
In the way he depicts their resilience and yearning for connection.
Yeah.
And it comes through in his writing style.
It does. It's spare.
Yeah.
It's almost poetic.
Yeah.
But it's so evocative.
Yeah.
And you get these flashes of imagery just stay with you.
Like when Louise compares the falling snow to the fur of a white rabbit.
Yeah, or the way he describes the firelight on the snow.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It captures both the harshness and the beauty. Yeah.
Of their world, you know?
Yeah, a world so tied to the lives
of
these characters.
It's a world that feels familiar and strange at the same time.
It does.
I don't know if contradictions.
Like the characters.
Like the characters.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it so compelling.
Yeah.
It stays with you.
Yeah.
And it asks you to think about your own experiences with family, with loss.
Yeah.
With the search for belonging.
Yeah, speaking of which, what's really stood out to you about the book?
Oh, gosh.
Was there a particular character or scene that resonated with you?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, for me, it was that recurring image of the stuffed elephant.
I was thinking the same thing.
Such a simple object,
Yeah.
but it carries so much weight throughout the book.
It represents so much like lost innocence, the desire for connection, the burden of the past.
It connects all those key relationships.
It does.
Louise, who mistakes it for her baby.
Yeah.
The narrator who wants to give it to Elizabeth. And then Elizabeth herself.
That's amazing.
Because like even in death, there's this possibility of passing something on, leaving a legacy.
And that brings us back to memory. You know?
How it shapes us.
Yeah, how we understand who we are.
Yeah.
It's there in Louise's fading recollections.
Yeah.
In the narrator's efforts to piece together the past.
Totally.
And in Elizabeth's journey to uncover her own hidden history.
It's like Talty's suggesting that memory isn't just about remembering things, but it's about making a story that gives meaning to our lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that story is always...
It's fragmented.
Yeah, it's incomplete.
Incomplete, open to interpretation.
Right.
But it's through remembering, sharing stories that we make sense of ourselves and our place in the world.
Yeah, it feels like Fire Exit.
It does.
Is about more than just finding a way out.
Yeah.
It's about finding a way back.
You're right.
To ourselves, to our communities, to our heritage.
Absolutely. And that's where the whole idea of storytelling comes in.
Yeah.
The way Talty structures the novel as these connected short stories.
Right.
Creates this sense of like things coming full circle.
Yeah.
That feeling that everything is connected.
Yeah, it's like we're weaving a tapestry.
Yeah.
Of all these experiences.
Each thread adds to the whole picture.
And we keep circling back to these moments, these relationships.
Yeah, we see them from different angles.
Right, and we gain a deeper understanding.
Each time. Yeah.
It makes you wonder, how much can we ever really know about ourselves?
That's right.
Or about even the people closest to us.
Yeah, and it's through those multiple perspectives that we start to see the bigger picture. Yeah. The ways those individual stories connect to the bigger narrative of the Penobscot history and culture.
There's one story in particular.
Oh, yeah.
The Name Means Thunder.
Yeah.
That really highlights this connection.
Yeah. Between past and present.
Yeah, it's a retelling of this traditional Penobscot story.
About Gluskob.
Yeah, this hero figure.
Yes.
But Talty doesn't just retell it.
Right.
He weaves it into the present.
Through Jesus.
Through Githos.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you make of that?
It's so smart.
Yeah.
Because by weaving this old story into the present, Talty shows us how these stories are still alive.
Yeah.
For the Penobscot people today.
Right.
They're not just things of the past.
Right.
They have this wisdom and meaning that goes through generations.
Yeah.
Makes you think about what stories have shaped your own life.
Absolutely. And it's not just about like keeping the stories alive.
Right.
It's about understanding.
A deeper meaning.
Yeah, their relevance.
Yeah. How they can help us today.
Yeah.
How do they connect us to something bigger than ourselves?
Those are powerful questions.
Powerful questions for sure. So speaking of powerful moments, let's talk about the ending.
Okay.
Elizabeth, who's been resisting learning about her heritage.
Right.
She decides to bury her grandmother's ashes.
What'd you think about that?
Yeah, did that feel like a turning point?
It felt significant.
Yeah.
It's small.
Yeah.
But it shows that shift in her perspective.
She's choosing to embrace her family's history.
Yeah.
To acknowledge that connection.
Yeah.
Despite all that time and silence.
Yeah. It's a hopeful way to end.
It is. Yeah. It suggests that even though we can't change the past, we can choose how it affects us now.
Fire Exit reminds us that stories have this power to heal.
Yes.
To connect us to each other.
Yeah.
And to help us find our place.
In the world.
It really does. And it encourages us to listen to the stories around us.
Yeah, to honor those voices that have been silenced.
Yeah, and to recognize that strength.
Yeah.
Indigenous communities.
Have you ever come across a story that completely changed how you saw things?
Oh, so many times. I can't even pick one.
But that's the beauty of stories.
It is.
They can change us.
They go.
Open our minds and hearts.
Yeah, and as we wrap up our deep dive into Fire Exit, we want to leave you with this.
Okay.
What stories do you carry?
Yeah.
What are your fire exits?
What are you searching for?
And how are you going to share your stories? Let us know in the comments.
Yes.
Don't forget to subscribe.
And tell a friend.
Tell a friend about the deep read.
Yes. We'll be back.
We'll be back soon.
With another deep dive.
With another deep dive. But until then...
Happy reading.
Happy reading, everyone.